Well, good morning. There we are. We are going live. This is Religion
Morning,
Outside the
everyone.
Box weekly spiritualigious gathering. I got lots of people here who are joining me live, so let me go to that camera. There we are. Hi, people.
Hello.
This is a different way of doing a Zoom meeting. Well, different. There are only so many ways to do a Zoom meeting, but it seems like many of them don't have everyone unmuted, and I have this open source approach to religion, which says that everyone who's here has some wisdom within them, and that we learn a lot from each other. So I'm glad that you guys are all here. I'm going to change back to the other camera. Hold on. There we are. I wanted to start with this. I had two little cartoons to start with. This one. Not a giggle. Nothing? No one?
That's it.
And no, I was about to say that it's the little writing.
Can you say the little writing? It's men's swear as opposed to menswear.
Oh.
Okay. And on this one, we'll follow up, and then there's going to be a point to this.
That's beautiful.
And there's something I wanted to talk with you guys about, and we should have a group conscience, if you will. Is I got an email from a member of the Religion Outside the Box community, and it said, "Rabbi, for so long you had foregone your swearing, and you went back and you're using that F word again, and I find it distasteful, and I can't manage to watch and continue to watch when you're using that word. It throws me off so much." And I wanted us to talk about that, of like Alex, and let me at this point thank Alex for always being my tech go-to. So thank you, Alex, for always being
You're welcome.
of help. Alex gave me a definition at one point that says your freedoms end, your freedom to swing your fist ends where my face begins. Right?
Go for that.
Yes.
Right? I can only swing my fist as so long as it doesn't get into your way. And my question is about the word fuck. Is I'm fine to use that word, but if it is off-putting to somebody, and again, I'm very thankful that they told me that it was off-putting to them, so that we can be in conversation about it. And I wanted to ask your opinion. Does it feel? Oh boy, let me start with a different question. Show of hands. I'm going to switch over screens for a second. Show of hands. How many of you, my dearest little boy once said to Larry, my best friend, Emmett was maybe 9 years old at the time, and he said, "Grandpa Larry, you're like a wise old owl, but I know 6 words you don't use." Show of hands. How many of you have a larger vocabulary than Larry? Right?
Yeah.
I just mean about using cuss words, not Larry has a larger vocabulary than I do. Using cuss words. How many of you are free flowing about using the cuss words and don't really give a shit who's on the other end of hearing what it is?
I like it.
Okay, maybe about halfway for some of you.
Depends on the situation.
It depends where you are. I mean, if you're in church or at a spiritual religious gathering, you might not use the word, but if you're shoveling hay, you might.
But if somebody kicks me in the shin in the church, I might yell in protest.
Correct.
I wonder if you yourself have just defined what this gathering is every Saturday, and by your own definition, you shouldn't be using the F word.
There you go.
And why is that? In case I missed my own definition, there
You say that this is a spiritual time.
is a spiritual time, and
Yeah.
so
What's cussing got to do with it?
Cussing is saying, don't take me seriously. I'm just too hip to be taken seriously.
but
What do
I
you
would
mean?
say wait, but
I don't think so.
okay, and we
So you
also
used it all the time. That's why they got you that mug.
right. I would look at everyone on the screen and I would say, hey, look, we all figured out how to wear clothing. Like we all know that there's social decorum, that there are things that we ought to do just to fit in, and there are things that we don't do to not put ourselves out. Go ahead, Alex, and then Christina.
So,
and I'm going to change back to the regular screen. I apologize for this.
My thought on this is that I don't want to go to church, right? I don't want to go to synagogue. I want to be in a group where people are real. And one of the reasons that I was attracted to you as a person, Brian, was because you did say it like it is, and you did say fuck, and you did say shit, and that I did not have to feel like I had to walk on eggshells in order to be around this, ooh, rabbi, better be careful about what I say. I can be me, and I can be real, and I appreciate that you are you, and you are real. And while I have sympathy and empathy for, people who don't like to hear the F word, well, maybe this isn't the right group for you, because if you are so concerned about that, then there's an aspect of lack of realism.
Right, and let's remember that one of the definitions of being in a community is that we have to give up certain of our own individual rights. We have to give up a little bit of our own right. You can't just pee or poop everywhere you want. To be in a community, you have to agree upon, here's where you pee, here's where you poop. Go ahead, Christina.
Yes, thank you. I agree with Alex, at least to some degree. It's important to be the one you are. That's really an important thing. But I'm thinking about the devaluation of words. If I talk about the devil, I have to mean something really devilish with it. And if it's shit, it's really shit. Not just anything I say. Oh, my coffee's a bit cold. Oh, it's shit. I mean, that's not appropriate. So I think we should use the words for what they stands for.
Okay, thank you.
And my second thought is what you have been talking about earlier about intention and impact.
Correct. My intention is not to throw anyone off, but if I use a word and it throws someone off, I did that. Thank you. Kip, go ahead.
I just wanted to respond to Alex and what you said, Alex. There's one part of what you said that caught for me, and that's maybe this isn't the group for them. I'll trade language. I'll trade things that I have to be more careful about for just about anybody here, because I want people to be here. And if there's something I personally could do that doesn't cost me much, and there's a big thing for somebody else, it's very reasonable for me to do. And I would gladly do that for anybody I know here. So that's just my one.
Yeah. Perfect.
Maybe we don't want to say it's not for everybody.
Let me add one thing. Brian, can I say just one thing?
Yeah, Michael.
It's Michael. The reason I'm chiming in is you began this discussion with using the major element of polydoxy. In other words, this religion that permits people to be authentic and in terms of belief and practice, which is very profound. The only commandment is your freedom ends where my freedom begins.
Well, that's what
you started with that.
Yeah.
And this is very profound because this is a spiritual community. I think we'll all agree with that. And there are philosophic, religious concepts that are critical to making this a religion of sorts, though we haven't defined it yet.
Thank you.
So what
Thank
you
you,
say,
Michael.
and what you're stylistic.
And what you're saying, Michael, is very important. I'm not just talking about language here. We're talking about group and polydoxy. Just to break that word down, poly means many, dox means belief, as opposed to orthodox, which is a strict belief, or monodox, which is there's only one belief. I fully I have in my heart, I'm a humanist. I have this polydox idea that we all have different beliefs and they're all okay. And the question is, how do we play well with others? Go ahead, Bob.
That's a different question. That's a different question we're doing.
But
yeah, I guess I was brought up without using those various words, and that so I guess I don't find a need to use that. But if other people are using it, I can handle it.
Okay.
And
right. And my question that was asked by this member was, would you please stop using it for my sake? And I like what Kip had said to that was, it doesn't cost me enough to keep someone out of the group. Go ahead, Meg, and then I do want to move us along.
Well, I have other words that I don't like. I really don't like to hear "have a blessed day." I have finally turned that around to, she's really saying "have a lucky day." So maybe the people that don't like the word "fuck" can think of some other word.
Okay. Let me stop us here. I preach. Alex, you have something you have a burning need?
Yeah, I just wanted to follow up on Kip's comment about inclusivity, which is this, right? There are certain things that we don't do in this community because we're not that kind of community, right? We don't typically do Hebrew prayers because we're a different community. And and we've had situations where people have asked us for Hebrew prayers, which has kind of created this sort of uncomfortable thing. Right? And so I think that part of the cussing, it's not just about cussing, but it's about an identity as a community. And if you're going to be outside the box, you're outside the box. And so I disagree with Kip's comment that it's about excluding people so much as it is there's a lot of things that are going to create this community that's self-selection. If you're wanting to be here for a traditional Jewish Saturday service, you're in the wrong place.
Correct. So
that's the point I'm trying to make.
I thank you. And in case you didn't realize, ain't nobody here going to get everything that they like. Right? And that's just how this game goes. I want to change our focus. Thank you all for that discussion. Yeah. I do want to add in one thing that came up in prep for this is we are all understanding that to use the word fuck or shit or da-da-da, that's one thing. But there's a different status on, and we had been talking about in the past few weeks, using the N-word, right? That's a different level to things, and there are things, and I wanted to make a point that it seemed didn't get made in the last few weeks, which, I can't remember who I'm quoting, but he said that it sometimes seems to him, African-American man speaking, it seems that white folk have a difficult time.
It keeps freezing.
Hold on.
Everything keeps freezing.
Yeah, I'm getting the same thing. It's not the best connection or something. I don't know.
All right. We will look into that in the background. Fun timing. Was that for some white folk who have an idea, this is according to the African American man, that some white folk have a hard time understanding that the world isn't they don't get to do everything. And yes, black folk can use a word, but white folk can't use that word. I just wanted to add that piece in from last week. I want to tell you guys a story. Okay. So Annie's math teacher didn't teach something quite well. And I know this math teacher because Emmett had the math teacher 2 years previously. And Annie asked me to help her with a homework. And so I sit to help her and I write out on an index card x to the mth power, and I'll go to talk to her about it. She goes, "He didn't teach us that." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know. Let me teach it to you." and then we can do your homework. I don't want your help. I just need your help doing the homework. He didn't teach us this right. And so I go back and I say again, if I could explain it to you, well, you shouldn't have to explain it to me. He should have explained it to me. And the next thing I wanted to say, I didn't say, but the next thing that I wanted to say was, honey, you're making your life a little more difficult. You're making your life more difficult by complaining about what's going on as opposed to trying to fix what's going on. I'm going to assume that I'm not the only one who has had the desire to tell someone you're getting in your own way.
Very good.
I can see on your faces, yeah.
We missed out on the first part of that because we were all frozen for so long.
Okay.
Not all. Betsy, I think it's you, my dear. Betsy. Sorry. I think it's just you, Betsy.
Oh.
Okay. Well, welcome back, Betsy. But that's also an interesting thing, right? We assume that everyone's having the same experience we're having.
Right.
So Annie, I want to say to Annie, you're getting in your own way. You're making it harder. And I didn't say that because, as you know, I do play a little bit of chess and I can play a few moves out. And I know that's not going to help. Like nothing good's going to come out of me telling her she's in her own way. And I start to think, when was the last time I heard someone say to me, Brian, you're getting in your own way. You're making it harder on yourself. Not when was the last time I heard it, but when was the last time that was helpful?
No, never.
And, right. And then I started to ask people, I'm like walking with my buddy Greg. I said, Greg, do you think in the history of humanity, anyone has ever said, hey, you're getting in your own way? And the other person went, yeah, totally. You're so right. I'm so glad you pointed that out. And we did have to backtrack, Greg and I, and say that it is possible that it has happened in humanity. It might have happened in a therapist's office more than anywhere else, but that we don't usually hear somebody say, you're getting in your own way. It doesn't go well. So why I bring this up? Let me ask, have you had that same experience where you see somebody, let me see by a show of hands, have you seen somebody get in their own way, and have you had the desire to tell them you are getting in? I see that's a lot of hands. And keep your hand up if that worked. Okay, I got like one person once. All right.
No, it's my job as a father. I mean, they may not like it, but as a father, I feel it's my job to point out when my kids are getting in their own way.
Yeah.
So I kind of take exception, stylistically difference, but no, it's if I don't help my young ones understand that, right, then who will?
And Kip, you and I have children of similar ages, and what I have found is it's to tell Annie at the time she's upset, that's not the time for me to do that.
Agreed. Right. Agreed entirely, 100% entirely.
So to find it at a neutral time. I want to bring an idea up to everybody, and I have two thoughts, and I hope I get to both of them. I want to bring an idea up to everybody, and this is from a man. Oh, come on, other camera. Hold on one second. Why is that camera not going? There we go. It's an idea from a guy named Al Gottman, and he talks about a 4-to-1 ratio. And they did this study with people who were married, and they said that you need to have in your interactions neutral, positive to every correction. That if you want to maintain a good relationship with someone, you have to have 4 positive, neutral moments for every 1 moment of correction that you have. Something as simple as telling Emmett, dude, that's not the way to hold your fork. That's a correction. And if I want him to listen to me and not just think that I'm an ass who's always correcting him. I have to make sure to throw in other comments like, "Oh, M, look at that. You're wearing pants today." That's a neutral.
A low bar.
It's a low bar. And I will tell you, the neutral ones, positive ones, I like your pants. That's easy enough. Neutral comments feel really stupid to say at first. But it gives him that he's not just hearing all this. And I want to take this idea and the idea of you're making it harder on yourself. Let me start. I don't know that this is all going to work perfectly, but let me try. That idea that I was talking about where you say to someone, hey, you're just making it harder on yourself. How about if we did that with a mirror? How many of us tell ourselves, you're just making it worse. Get over it already. That's a lot of us. A lot of us do that to ourselves. And then the follow-up to that is, we got a lot of extra noise happening today. Isn't it fun? How many of us in our own brains are able to maintain a 4-to-1 dialogue of neutral, positive? I say a few or no, not me.
Depends on the day. Pretty much.
It's hard to do. If you wanted to get better at it, what do you think you would have to do?
Practice.
Go ahead, Jess. What do you got?
I was just going to agree with practice.
Practice. And when you do it wrong, of course, to shame yourself mercilessly for having done it wrong.
No. I think you need to establish an agreement.
Go ahead, say it again. Was that Ellis?
Jack.
Jack, sorry, Jack.
I think you need to set up an agreement as a foundation, first of all.
Explain a little more. That was a little cryptic, Jack.
Well, do you agree with me to have this agreement?
Can we agree to have disagreement? Sure, I'm okay with not always being on the same page.
Yeah, right. Yeah. How about when an authority figure comes over you?
When an authority figure corrects you?
Yeah, or comes over you and without even saying anything.
It's a different feeling than if the authority figure's not in the room.
Yeah. I think I grew up left-handed, but just the nuns would crack my knuckles if I even attempted a left-hand writing.
Correct. That's a terrible thing.
Yep.
It's a terrible thing. Sorry to have heard that. Okay. I'm going to try to go back to my little sermon point, which was, let's all practice to do a little bit more on the compassionate to ourselves, not telling ourselves that we're just doing it wrong.
Brian,
Jordan,
is meditation helpful in this regard? I am genuinely asking because I don't practice.
Yeah. So the goal, not the goal, the perk that I can tell you that I've gotten from meditating is it's gotten me better able, because it's a lot of time with me inside my own head. It's given me a lot of flight time of watching my own thoughts and being able to see my own thoughts without necessarily acting on my own thoughts. And it gives me a practice ground to bounce around my own thoughts and go, well, I don't know. Is that true? Is that not true? And it's not that I'm always on top of my thoughts. It's just the ability to see my own thoughts separate from what I'm doing, to think my thoughts. God, that was a messy answer. I think it's helpful. I think it's been very helpful. And anyone who wants to join me for the most boring 20 minutes of Facebook Live at 2 p.m. Pacific time. If you find me, I'm on Facebook. I'm streaming. It's also streaming on YouTube. I'm streaming myself doing nothing for 20 minutes. And there's a bunch of people I can see. I don't know who they are, but I know that there are 4 or 5 people who join me on a regular basis. I don't know. It's the same people. It could be different people every week. Who knows? But I get a bunch of people by the time the meditation's over. I can see people who've been sitting with me. So please join me. Also, if you really want to throw off your Facebook algorithm at all, if you stream high quality nothing happening for 20 minutes, the bots have no idea what you're doing. Just it's a little extra perk. Two things I want us to do. Hold on. One, last week Jack had mentioned some things we had talked about the 6 qualities to being to the 6 characteristics of someone living a spiritual life. We've talked about the 5 qualities of a spiritual religious life. Here are the 7 parts of a mystical experience. And I just want us to look at them, so you should see them. You should know what they are. And I'll give you a little bit of a history. So back in the day, 1960s, a fellow by the name of Timothy Leary and another researcher named Richard Alpert, who later became Ram Dass, but this is before that. They're both at Harvard, and they're both studying mystical experiences. And they're looking for a taxonomy. They're looking throughout history at people who have had what seem to be mystical experiences, and they're trying to see what are the qualities of those mystical experiences so that we can have a taxonomy. And this is the 7 things. One of the lists has these 7. And they were, and just a little bit of history to make it all the more fun, they were studying religious experiences, and somebody went over to Timothy Leary and said, hey, psilocybin does the exact same thing as all the things you're talking about. And they did a great experiment on a Good Friday. It was known as the Good Friday experiment. They did a double-blind placebo, but I didn't know about this, but there are some active placebos. Like there's a placebo that makes you feel warm, so you think something's happening. So they gave people either placebo or LSD, and all the people who took the LSD had mystical experiences, and one person in the control group had a mystical experience. So I thought that was kind of neat. So there's that. Here are the 7 qualities. And then they stopped taking notes altogether. They just started to do LSD all the time. And then Harvard kind of kicked them out and said, what are you doing? And then I think you know enough of 60s counterculture to know they went on to have their own fame. So here are the qualities of a mystical experience. The qualities of a mystical experience. Mystical experiences are ineffable. They're impossible to describe in words. It's something beyond words. They're noetic. Noetic's a really fun word. It means it's something where you know something without knowing why you know something, but you just know that it's true. They're transient. Mystical experiences don't last forever. It's not an entire lifetime. It's you have a moment. There's the time of it. It's passive. Mystical experiences aren't something that you have to do. They're something that are done. You're along for the ride. They're unifying. People who have mystical experiences feel connected. They don't feel disconnected. They feel a connection to everything around. There's a timelessness. During the mystical experience, much like a nightmare, there's no sense of time. Oh my God, I had such weird dreams last night. Wow. Okay, sorry. Those just came back to me. Timeless, and then lasting in terms of positive effect. And that, if you've smoked pot, you might have had 1 through 6, but it's number 7 that makes it a mystical experience, is that it's something that gives you a lasting it changes your life from that point on in terms of positive effect without having to do the LSD or have the mystical experience again. It can be life-changing in that way.
And you never forget it.
Right. It's always with you. Okay. And I believe that we've all, we might not have all, if we looked at all 7 of these, we might not all have had a number 10 on each one of these categories at the same time. Like we didn't have that one experience, but I'm pretty sure that all of us have had all of these experiences in our life. And these are not just reserved for those people who have had mystical experiences. I like to encourage people to think that you too have or are currently having a mystical experience. Religion for everybody. Okay. We're going to break into small groups in a moment, and we're going to have a topic. First of all, how is everyone doing? Let me look at your beautiful faces. Hi, people. Good to see you. I so love doing this. I just do. I watch on YouTubes and other social medias, and I see other clergy people sometimes post parts of their sermons, and I think, well, I like what I'm doing because I get to you guys get a voice back, and it's not. Look, there are advantages to straight liturgy, which is like the person leading the service can kind of be on cruise control during the song that everybody knows because everyone's singing the song. We don't have that here. There's a little bit of a different experience. Want to talk today? We're going to go back to a topic. We're going to talk about gratitude. Gratitude is made out of two component parts. You might have heard me say this already. If you've been here before, it will be a review, and that's fine. Gratitude is made up of thankfulness, the moments of conscious thankfulness, moments where you are grateful for what is. That makes up your gratitude practice. Thankfulness minus moments where you complain makes up your gratitude. Same way that your budget is made up of inflows and outflows, your gratitude is made up of moments of conscious gratitude, moments of conscious thankfulness, minus, and I say the complaints are only ones that come out of your mouth. You can have a complaint of, like you think, oh, that's pretty terrible. But I said, let's not count it as a complaint unless you say it. Just to make it a little bit, to make it a little bit easier. I think it's really hard to control our thoughts. Oh, I don't like that. I wouldn't call that a complaint. But telling another person, I don't like that kind of chocolate, or that's the worst piece of chocolate I've ever had, I would call that a complaint, thinking it is not. Let's try one quick thing before we go into small groups. Everybody, pull out your electronic. Oh, look, there's my doggy. Isn't he cute? Take out your electronic. Go to Messengers, any messaging program that you use, and scroll. Scroll down. Scroll down. Scroll down. You should be doing this on your own one. I'm only in September, so hold on. I'm going to keep going back. There we go. Pick a person. I'm going to pick that one. Mitch Guffey. He was one of my students years ago. I'm going to just write him a little note that says, hey, I was thinking about you randomly just now. Thought I would say hi. Send. And notice what's going on in your own being as you attempt this exercise. How's it feel, knowing you're sending somebody a random bit of gratitude? How's that feel to do?
Great.
It's kind of neat. I'm really hoping he's going to text back, but he's only 20-something, so I don't think he's up at 8:30 in the morning.
So we've got a variety. For some people, it feels warm and fuzzy. For other people, it feels like they're a stalker. So.
Is that a warm, fuzzy kind of stalker?
Maybe.
Stalker.
Yeah. It obviously do this at your own comfort level. This is if apparently there are people who I'm told it's scientifically proven that there is a thing called introvert. I've come to believe that this is a true thing. If this does not feel like you, please take care of yourself. Do what works for you. We're going to go into small breakout groups. And Maria, thank you for telling me what's going on in the chat. Our dear friend Jo, I don't know if you remember last week, she had to run out. Her godfather, he just passed. So Jo, who usually moderates the chat and is also our friendly greeter at the clubhouse, she's out right now dealing with her godfather. I will add one thing tangential to that is something my friend Cohen taught me. Is it doesn't matter how old you are or if you are a spiritual religious Jedi, when you're talking about the death of a parent or a godparent or somebody who's really important to you, we all go back to being 10 years old. That's just to...
I agree.
Yeah, just to remember. Okay, we're going to go into small groups, and I'm going to ask you to share with people in the small group either how you plan on upping your thankfulness and minimizing your complaints, or, well, let's just do that. I was going to say, or your reactions to sending out an email to someone, but let's just do it this way, because the email can fit in adding in thankfulness and minimizing complaints. So we're going to go into groups. You're not going to have to do anything. Alex should be able to immediately move you. If you're on a phone, you will automatically be moved, and there we all go. We'll be back in 6 minutes. Alex, do I move rooms too? I don't remember what happens there.
You can choose to go by default. I don't think that you necessarily have to go.
All right, I'm going to see what the numbers are. Everyone seems to have 4 or 5 people in a room. So I will stay back here. Just you, me, Charlene. Hi, Charlene. All right, it's just those of us who there. Hi, Candace.
Oh.
We're just going into small breakout rooms. Can I put you in one?
What's the topic?
Gratitude.
Oh, sure.
All right.
Yep.
We're sending you in. Should move you into group room number 1.
All right.
Alex, can you be my sky pilot and help me to...
I can do that.
There we go.
Oh, you got her? Okay.
We do. So I'm going to go with this one, Alex.
Okay.
It's just you and me and whoever. Do I have people watching on Facebook? Oh, Shirley and Moja and Azera are both on Facebook. So let me say hi to them. Hi, guys. Did that add to our broadcast? There we go. There's a thing from Shirley, and here's something from Azera. Hi, my friend. Shabbat Shalom. Good to know that you're here. I was going to say about this one. I'm going to make a game, and I'm going to put it on my phone right now, and I'm going to start a stopwatch. That's funny, start and stop. But I'm going to start a stopwatch, and I'm going to see how long I can go before I complain. I can't figure out how to get a stopwatch going. There we go. Stopwatch. All right. Alex, I really think this is stupid. That was my last complaint. Now let's see how far I can go.
Okay.
I did do the 20-day no complaint challenge. That was years ago, I think, and that was transformative. And Shirley's posting. Shirley, that was not a complaint, not yet. Although I do always think if you're going to fall off the wagon, it's better to do it close to the beginning of when you did it. You don't mess up your sobriety that way. The 20-day no complaint challenge. Will Bowen is the preacher who came up with this idea. It changed It changed me, and the biggest downside I found was I got quieter. Yeah. What do you have to say about complaints, gratitude, and thankfulness?
Well, sometimes the line between complaining and just explaining what is
Yes.
really, really fine, right?
So you have to make your own decision if it was a complaint or not. It gets a little bit tricky. Oh, I did make an exception. Excuse me, let me just add that. I did make the exception that I was allowed to complain to my therapist.
Okay. Yeah. And where I really realized, this actually was on my mind the other night because I was talking to my friend Rebecca, and I was telling her about all of the things that have been happening with my rental and all of these things that are the house that I'm trying to turn into a rental and debt, and all of these things, and it's like everything that can go wrong did, and when you look at that, it's like, well, it could be complaining, or I had her in stitches. She was laughing so hard, and I was laughing too. It's like, is it a complaint, or is it?
Or is it comedy?
Is it comedy? Because the line between those two is really, really thin.
My friend Cohen, the one who said about being 10 years old and with grief, he said the only reason I'm funny is so people listen to me complain.
Yeah, and because as I was thinking about it, I was actually consciously thinking about it. Is this complaining or is it just telling a story? And I was laughing about it, so I don't think it was complaining.
Let's give you all the points.
But it's definitely there's a definite fine line there.
And right? I think also in doing a remodel and in parenting, there's a lot of opportunity, a lot of potential for complaints to happen. But I'm swearing them off. Hey, I've made it 3 minutes, Shirley. What do you have to say about that, Shirley? Nothing, because you're on a 12-second delay on the Facebook. How are we doing on the time?
We have about 30 seconds before I close the room. So it's
okay. And Candace just said, I just saw the chat. Candace said sometimes it's easier to embrace the absurdity. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's definitely true. I mean,
it's sometimes easy. It's easier if you can embrace the absurdity. It's not always easy to embrace the absurdity.
Yeah, no, I'm going to say, like, in the beginning of this process, it was causing me quite a lot of distress, all the things that were going wrong. And then they just kept going wrong and wronger and wronger.
And became funny.
And then finally I just sort of gave up, and I'm like, okay, well, I can't do anything about it. So, I can either cry and get upset, or I can just go, well,
that's a good
this
one.
Shit ain't working right now, and laugh about it.
I have a mentor of mine. I think I've quoted him before. He says, sometimes you have to laugh to keep from crying.
Okay, so I've given the room's the 1 minute one.
And there's Shirley. Shirley says, very good. Thank you, Shirley, for being our Facebook correspondent. I have a few announcements to make. I got to close that up. We're doing all right. Doing all right. Ooh. You like this one, Alex? My water bottle.
That's cool. Wait. So I can't read what it says.
I'm trying to get it to focus in. Hold on. I got to put my head behind it. There it is.
Jesus loves you, everyone you hate. Oh, okay.
Well, welcome back. There's Chad without Lisa. Oh, there's Lisa. Okay. I was going to feel unsettled in the world.
We've had a long night. We did civic duty where we took a local neighborhood cat to go get neutered early this morning.
Oh. I'm sure they were appreciative of that.
I just
you
saw
might
a clock timer.
Yeah, it's a lot less green today.
So I started a timer. This came out of the group I was in for doing the small group I was in. I had the idea that I was going to start a timer, and I started it 5 minutes and 40 seconds ago, and that was the last time I complained. And I want to see. And at one time, I got to 20 days once. There was something called the 20-day no complaint challenge by Will Bowen. He's a minister who came up with that idea. It's a fun challenge to do, and I'm back. And I will tell you next Saturday. We'll see. We'll see how this timer is going. I do want to clarify that the complaint is something that comes out of your mouth that you consider to be a complaint. You are the only arbiter in this. I'd love to hear from other people. What kind of wisdom came out of your small groups? What kind of thoughts came out about gratitude?
Amy has her hand up.
Go for it, Amy.
I was going to say friendship means everything, so that, with gratitude, we're all happy with friends that we've known for a long time that can ground us. Or bring us back to not the non-complaints or point out,
And looking for friends is already a thankful gratitude stance to be in, as opposed to complaining that the people don't want to be with me. Thankful for what we got. Anne, was that your hand? No, that wasn't your hand up. That was your cat.
That was her tail. But
it was your hand. Okay.
Well, this is my hand. That was her tail. I find it helpful, given that a complaint is only counting if it's spoken, that if I think a complaint, why? Just wait. Think it, wait some more, wait some more, wait some more. And if I wait long enough, it lowers the probability that I will say it.
Yeah. If you can catch yourself, that's a huge thing. If you can catch yourself before it comes out of your mouth, that's great.
Count to 10.
Yeah. Go ahead, Bob, and then Michael.
Yes, I think that the word complain or complaint has too many different meanings, and that we can have a complaint department where if something is not working well, that you put a note in there about an improvement. Okay, that could be a complaint department.
Yes, sir.
And that, so I think that sometimes when we use that word complain, that it may mean different things to different people.
Again, I'm making everyone the arbiters of their own complaints. I got too many things to do than to judge other people's complaints or not. So if you make it a complaint, it's a complaint. If you deem it's not a complaint, it's not a complaint. Go ahead, Michael.
Well,
I've been thinking about complaints because we have a new premier in our province, and so I've been complaining a lot about her. And then you got me thinking about, well, what's that going to do?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's fun to complain. It is, like about weather or gossipy kind of stuff. It could be bonding. It can be sometimes. But there's no point to me complaining about a politician. I need to actually do something. So
correct.
Thank you.
Correct. And if I can add to that, just to circle back, let's circle back to this. The complaints are over here. If you were the politician and all you heard were people telling you what you're doing wrong, who wants to hear that? Let's have a little bit more over on this side too. I have so homework for this week. Mind your complaints. Mind your complaints. I want to tell you a story. I have some announcements to make. We didn't do our minute of prayer time. Let's do that. Go ahead, Maria.
I have the list.
Yeah, please.
Okay. So the list of names this week for lifting up and sending positive energy to: Jack Applebaum and family, Joe Applebaum Ludwig and family, Amy G, Ron B, Ralph B, Josh, Abbas, Christina, April, Irene and the Schultz family, Rita S, Kathleen, Eileen, Eloise, Josh, and Steve. And
Wow.
if there's someone else, please add it in the chat and I will add them to the list.
And that list can always be found here at mn.rotb.org. Let's take a minute of time to just sit silently, and we'll do that here at the 45. Oh, thank you all. A few announcements. If you stick around after the hour, there's a second hour. We have a deep dive group, a poetry group, a Jewishy Hebrewy room, and you're welcome to bounce around to go to any or you have free will. Do as you like. And thank you to Al and to Kip and Maria and Afia and Alex, who helped to keep this whole thing running. So thank you all. Also, to if you go to mn.rotb.org, you can find also the Shekinah group, and you can find a poetry room, and you can find a 12-step room, and you can find the Religion Outside the Box member spotlight. We are spotlighting our friend Christina Post this time, and every 2 weeks we have a new person. If you would like to volunteer yourself to be spotlit, or if you would like me to volunteer you to be spotlit, please make that be known so that we can learn more about you. It's just a nice way to get to know a little bit about different people in the community. This announcement, because I think this is really important all the time. If you're having a hard time, hold on, it's going to come into focus in a moment. There it is. If you're having a hard time, that's okay. It is okay to not be okay. Sometimes we have a hard time and we do something counterproductive, which is we tell ourselves we should not be having a hard time. And as my buddy Larry says, that's an extra kick in the ass you did not need. So to please be kind to yourselves. And if you need some support, reach out to somebody else who's here. Reach out to me. Reach out to a loved one. Great. Quick question. Show of hands. Did anyone hear back if they sent a text? Did anyone get a text back so far? You did. Care to share anything about it? Go ahead, Hugh.
Yeah, my person said, yeah, I'm fine, thank you. And who the hell is this?
Did you know who you were sending it to?
Yes, I did. But obviously she deleted me from her contact list.
Oops.
Okay, well, we'll rekindle that friendship. It's a good story. Anyone else have anything slightly different to share about their experience? No worries at all. I want to tell you a quick story. I have one, and I'll let you think about this story afterwards. And the story is that there was a Zen monastery, and things started to go missing. And the monks finally find there was a monk who had been stealing. And they say to the head abbot, kick him out. He doesn't belong here. He's been stealing. And the monk said, if you have a problem with him, you may leave. But I'm keeping him here because if he doesn't learn here, where else is he going to learn? I share this story, and I'm going to leave it for you to think about, that sometimes we think this would all go so much better if it weren't for that person who's annoying me. If the people in charge could only take care of that problem, things would be fine. And I'll leave that story a little open-ended and leave it for you to think on. And we can either pick that one back up next week or not. We'll see what happens. I'm going to thank everyone. Oh, I do have this announcement. Please, if you don't already, join the Religion Outside the Box amazing, somewhat quirky silent auction. Some of you have already put some bids in, and I appreciate that. You'll get another link coming up. There are some very fun things that you can bid on. Here are 3 of them that are on you can make a nightlight with me. It doesn't matter where you are. We can do that via Zoom. I'm glad to custom make you a hat of the size and colors of your choice. The third one that's listed up here is hey, here's a great ridiculous gift to give someone. I'll call them on their birthday and I'll play the French horn and sing happy birthday for them. These are all fundraisers to help support Religion Outside the Box. I'm going to put the link here. It's galabid.com/ROTB. ROTB. There's the link right there. Please bid on things, help support Religion Outside the Box. This is a free service, and I love it to be a free service, but as you all are quite aware, free isn't free. I'm not, and then they say, if you're not paying for it, you are the product. That's not true in this case. I'm not selling your information to anyone. I'm not making a profit off of, they say, oh, those people are attending the Saturday service. This all works because people yourselves donate to support this work, and I appreciate that. If you want to support this work in a slightly different way, go to galabid.com/ROTB. That lamp right behind me, that one's being raffled off. $36 a ticket. I will ship that lamp to you wherever you are. There are a lot of fun things there, so please take a look. I'm going to end the service there. Thank you all very much. I'm going to put on this screen so we can wave goodbye to all the people. Wave goodbye to all the people. Rabbi. We'll stop the recording.
And a reminder to save your